Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Freedom Zone. I'm Candace, your host. This show throws political correctness under the bus, and God, guns, family, and country come first. I wanted to get started today with the basic belief that I have, and probably all of you have too, that you have the right to defend yourself and your families. You might say, yeah, so what's wrong with that? It's okay with me, but there's a new perception that if you do that, it is a character flaw. One of the talk show hosts yesterday had an author on that was talking about Harry Truman and his reaction to a critique of his daughter's musical talent. And he said if he ever met the critic, he would punch him in the eye, so he needed a beefsteak for the eye, and he would need a truss for down below, because he didn't appreciate the way that the guy talked about his daughter. The author that they had on the show said that was a character flaw. Personally, I don't see it as a character flaw because it's a father's right and duty to take care of his children. Also, Harry Truman was a straight shooter. He thought it, he said it, that was it. If you liked it, fine. If you didn't, fine. But it was considered a character flaw. So this is something that they consider a character flaw in the current president, President Trump, because if you hit him, he'll hit you back twice as hard, because that is something that's part of his character. It's not a flaw. Maybe you can say, well, he's from New York and that's why that happens. Well, maybe. But he doesn't appreciate people striking out at him for no good reason, and as we all know, he gets a lot of that. I call it character, I call it backbone, I call it standing up for yourself. And that's what we want to make people understand, that taking up for yourself is not a bad thing. Now, in the political circles, they want to all be kind and they want to be politically correct, which I disagree with all that, because the world is what it is, and we have to live in it, as Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez says, as it is right now. So, someone attacks you, are you just going to say, oh, that's okay, I don't mean it? Or are you going to be like Brett Kavanaugh, who when he was attacked, he pushed back. He pushed back because his children and his wife were getting horrible, horrible emails saying horrible things to them. Plus, they are dragging his reputation and a whole life's work through the mud, which he would never be able to sit on a bench as a judge or coach basketball, which is something he said he really liked, if they managed to destroy his character in such a way, saying that he was a groper or a rapist or whatever, without any proof at all. So when he pushed back, then the Democrats wanted to say that he didn't have the temperament to be a judge because he pushed back. I'm sorry, I don't know of any man whose family's attacked, whose total career at 50, I think he's 52, is attacked, is just going to say, oh, well, it's okay, if you guys don't want me, I'll just slink off into the darkness and never work again because, you're upset with me. That makes absolutely no sense. People have to be able to defend themselves against false accusation. So what else is going on that is against President Trump, and he's trying to defend himself? Well, every day there's something. Every day there's something. But right now we've got some rhinos, such as Rand Paul, who are trying to stand up against the president on his emergency border declaration, because there is a crisis on the border. They have an outbreak of mumps through the detention center on the other side of the border, because people are coming through without immunizations, and so people are sick and they're spreading disease. Not only that, there's a ton of illegal drugs coming through, and people are dying, 300 a week or more, of overdoses for these illegal drugs. And yet the media wants to say it's a manufactured crisis. And when you get someone like Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul collecting their little rhino friends to vote against the president, I'm upset, and I hope you are too, and I hope that you call your congressman. And your senator, and I did that with my senator because I live in North Carolina. I sent a letter to Tom Tillis and let him know that I was very displeased with him going against the emergency declaration. I just don't understand why They can't support the president knowing that there's a problem, knowing that there are people being killed, seeing angel families every week on some show or the other, trying to get in to talk to Pelosi, trying to get in to talk to people about why their child, their husband, their father, their brother is dead because of illegal aliens. Not that we don't like people from other places, we certainly do, as long as they come in on a legal basis, and they have gone through the process, which, by the way, takes time. It takes a good bit of cash, and you have to learn things about the United States, such as who was the 22nd president, what's the name of this place or that place. You take a test, and you take a test to see how your English skills are too, because the idea of America, yes, we are a nation of immigrants. However, we are the original rebels. We are the ones that came over here because we felt like we were being abused in Europe, not just with religious freedom, but with other freedoms, and we did not like that. So that's why so many people came here as early as 1649, I believe it was, in Jamestown. They came here to start a new life where people don't tell them what to do. Well, nowadays, people want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you what you can eat, what you can drink. You've got the government in New York telling you how much soda you can have. We didn't start this great country to be told what to do. It's not something that we are going to put up with. And every day, some of the new people in Congress, some of the old people that are causing me great disappointment, are coming through with things that they want to control about us. They're coming through with ideas of socialism and how great it is. Well, I can't think of any example of socialism that has ever worked out very well for anyone. And socialism, as I've said many times, is simply the training bra of communism. You get used to the restriction a little bit, you get used to the lack of liberty a little bit, and then it's communism, then it's Marxism, and then there's no turning back because everything has been totally destroyed. You can't take away from the people who are productive and give it to those who do not want to be productive, such as this new Green Deal. The new Green Deal, where everybody gets a job, a guaranteed job. Well, that sounds great. That sounds great. I'm going to work for this guy, and he's never going to be able to fire me because I have a guaranteed job. Or maybe I don't want a job, and I just sit home and I get a paycheck anyway. There is no way that our society is going to accept that or be able to make that work with our ideals of what we can do if we work hard enough. There has been so many times, and I do speak fluent Spanish, and I do talk to people from other places, where an immigrant will tell me, I came to this place with $50 in my pocket, and now I have an apartment, now I have a car and a job, and I'm so much better off than where I came from. But where I came from, I did not have an opportunity to do these things. So, what are we learning here? We're learning that people want to take away our liberties, and we have to stand up or we're going to lose our country. If we don't stand up, if we don't make grassroots effort to talk to our senators, yes, they'll call you, they'll send you an email back and say, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just like on, some of the cartoons, it's like, wah, 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 whatever, I'm going to do what I want. That's fine. At least you know what their position is. At that point, you can make your decision as to who you're going to vote for next time, because there's no law stating that we have to keep putting the same old tired people back into the Congress, back into the Senate, and make them our leaders, because they're not leaders. They're go-along to get-alongs, and we don't need that. We need people who have the moxie, who have the character flaw, if that's what you want to call it, to stand up for what's right, to stand up for rights, for freedom of religion, for our economy, and for our children. I don't even want to get into the things that the Democrats have come up against babies right now, but we have to fight for the children who can't fight for themselves, and complaining and whining about people being separated at the border, that's not taking care of our children. Where the children need to be taken care of is in our public schools, in our private schools, in our home life, because the parents should be the ultimate authority about what happens to their child. You can't expect a school or a county or a state or a city to raise your child and have your values. That has to be done, and the parents have to interface with the schools in order to be sure that their agendas are the same as the parents' agendas. If not, then they need to take steps to change that. Up until the last century, the parents were in charge of the schools. And a long time ago, the parents supported the schools and the teachers, and they made policy. We have to come back to that in order to preserve our country, because our values are slipping away, and they're slipping away fast. And it's up to us on a grassroots level to stop it. You have to stand up every day and say, I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to say something to somebody because I don't like this. This is not what I had in mind when I woke up 2 years ago to allow someone to come in and tell my president that I voted for that he's no good. By then they're telling that I'm no good, because they're trying to get to people like us, people who want to hold up our Judeo-Christian values, our capitalist society, and our religious freedoms. We were founded on that. Every single document that started the United States has a mention of God in it. It doesn't talk about a Druid or any other kind of religion. It talks about God, which is a Judeo-Christian ideal. We must return to that. We must stand strong in that. Call your senators, call your congressmen, and let them know that you're going to be a thorn in their side. It looks like we are about ready to take a break, but if you agree with me, this is what you need to do to keep our grassroots effort going.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World. In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, you're back with Candace in the Freedom Zone, where political correctness is not allowed and God's, gun, family, and country are always first. So, what we were speaking of before we went to break was that being a person who stands up for yourself is considered a character flaw now because everyone's supposed to be so nice and PC. And I disagree with that because I believe if someone accuses you, and like in the case of Brett Kavanaugh, accuses you falsely, you have to say something. You can't allow people to run all over you that way. So speaking of people who run all over everyone, we would like to go to the freshman Democrats that have come into the Congress this year. As you know, led by Nancy Pelosi, they are really not being led very well. It's like she's herding cats right now. She's got Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez trying to run her new Green Deal, which she says is really not what they were planning on doing. Plus, she kind of slighted her by not putting her on the Climate Change Committee, which is a good decision. I have to applaud her on that because this woman that has just come into Congress, she's 29 years old. Somehow she came up with an economics degree and was a bartender, is now all of a sudden deciding what we should eat, what we should do, how we should change our homes, our cars, our houses, our life, everything. And I personally resent that because I'm a little bit older than 29, but you know, you're still a baby as far as I'm concerned. The other one that is a terrible, distressing point with me is this Ilhan Omar. She was a Yemen refugee, She was supported by the United States. She got an education by the United States. She obviously abhors everything about the United States, and that's bad enough. But what she really does not like is Israel or the Jewish people. When Elliott Abrams was trying to be confirmed by the Senate, which should have been a routine, very simple, what do you think about this, what do you think about that process, she got her time in there to complain and accuse him of collateral damage and other things during the Iran-Contra deal that they had, and that was quite a long time ago because Oliver North was there, and he was an appointee by Ronald Reagan. She was disrespectful to the man. Number one, this is an older gentleman. You're a little kid, basically, in his eyes. You don't talk to your elders that way, first of all. Second of all, why do you hate them? And if you hate us as the United States, and you hate Israel, who is our prime ally, really the only ally that we have in the Middle East that we can trust, why are you in the Congress? You didn't run on these statutes. You ran on something else, smiling and looking all pretty and cute. And now you want to come in and talk horrible things to people who are older than you and that also have done a whole lot more than you. So maybe you should sit and listen. I once had a mentor. He said, if you only listen to the sound of your own voice, you'll never learn anything. And that's some of the best advice that I have ever had, because it's true. If you know everything, you're just a burden on everyone else because you can't learn. You can't go forward. You have to get your own point across, whether it's right or wrong, and you'll never ever be of any value as far as wisdom and experience and moving on into the community or public service or whatever it is that you would like to do with your life. I personally believe that she and other people of the Islamic faith are illegally in Congress right now because there was a law passed in 1952 that prohibited them from being part of the Congress or any of our government officials. As you can see, that's Elliott Abrams. It just flashed up there. He's not a young man. He's done a lot. He's got a lot of experience, and yet she berated and belittled him during her time and would not ever ask him a direct question. Mainly, she just wanted to be very disrespectful to him, I thought, and it had no bearing on what he was being confirmed for. But as I said, she was supported by the United States government. She got her education that way. So why do you hate the United States so much? If this is the case, why didn't you stay where you refugeed out of? If you want to turn it into what you refugeed out of, what was the point of leaving? But anyway, we digress. So, talking about people who are against the United States, and it seems like every day you hear something new from someone who's in a position of authority about what we should do, how we should support the president or not support him, going back to the rhinos like Rand Paul and Tom Tillis, who I personally sent an email to because he is my senator, telling him that I didn't appreciate him not supporting the president on the emergency that he has declared. We have another huge rhino, which would be Paul Ryan. He promised the president he would get the money for him if he would just sign over that last big omnibus that he was in charge of. He would get him the money for the wall. We desperately need the wall. The wall is crumbling. In some places it's like a few sticks with a barbed wire strung between it. We have a flood of people trying to get over here, a flood of people who haven't been immunized for diseases, people who would like to come and sell drugs, not only people from Central and South America, but people from the Middle East who can slip over this way. We're all for immigration. We're a nation of immigrants, but we want everyone to come in on the right the right path. We're not giving away the store as we did with Ronald Reagan, even though his understanding was we would do one-time amnesty and then we would secure the border, which that was in 88, I believe it was, and we still don't have a secure border. It's frightening when you think about people that have committed a lot of crimes of late, and of course we're not meaning to malign people who are of certain ethnic backgrounds or anything, but these people are not here legally and they've committed a lot of violent crimes, and they're part of gangs such as MS-13. This is not what we want for our country. This is not what we're looking for. We don't live in a gated community. For the most part, people don't live in a gated community like, say, Nancy Pelosi. We have to take protection from our police, and the most important person who is supposed to protect us is President Trump. It is his right, it is his duty. It's not just something that maybe he'd like to do. It's his duty to protect the citizenry of the United States. If he's not allowed or given the funds to do what he has to do to secure our border, there's no way that he can take care of us. He's just trying his best to do what he promised to do, and that's the main problem. The problem is they don't want him to build a wall, as in the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, etc., because that would show that he has kept almost every promise that he ran on, which is, in my lifetime, I've never seen that. I've never seen a president do as much as Donald Trump has done in less than 3 years. I've never seen a president keep more than 1 or 2 campaign promises, if that, because most of them, they glad hand and kiss babies till they get in there, and then it's totally different agenda. They don't have anything that they want for you. They have things that they want for them. And like right now, we have the Mueller investigation wrapping up, and it pretty much looks like it's going to drop this week, and there's no collusion evidence. They're talking obstruction of justice. So the Congress is getting ready to run with that. But here's the thing, they've spent a ton of our money, millions of dollars, and they found nothing. And really the special counsel's purpose, its only purpose, was to find Russian collusion concerning the election with Trump. Now, they didn't find any with Trump, however, they did find some with Hillary. She had bought the Steele dossier, and also she did the Uranium One deal. That was an Obama and her thing that they had cooked up along with John Kerry. So what they're going to try to do is drop that on Friday, I believe, and then spend the whole weekend talking about that rather than anything else that's going on the news. Every single thing in the world will stop for this report. And the thing is, it never accomplished its purpose. Its purpose was to find collusion concerning the election with our president, which there was none. And now the Congress is requiring documents from like 82 people who might have known Trump, asking them about things that totally have nothing to do with the presidency or collusion. I mean, the next thing you know, they're going to be asking the janitor who works down the street, who might have stopped at Trump Tower for a White Russian, what's his part in all this conspiracy? It's ridiculous, it's crazy, it's gotten out of hand. The problem was Jeff Sessions recused himself so early in the game and allowed the rest of them, like Ron Rosenstein, to just run roughshod over our president, over our laws. You've got Comey out with a book tour. You've got McCabe, out with a book tour. These people are leaking and talking about classified things right on TV, and yet they're not indicted. Why? Why hasn't somebody come and asked them why they did that, why they said that? Why isn't there inquiries into what they're doing? But there's not. There's only inquiries into what people who are concerned or are connected to Trump. So that's another thing. We have to be vigilant. We have to call our congressmen, we have to call our senators and tell them we don't want this. This is not what we want. We're in the freedom zone here, and we talk about whatever we need to talk about. And the most important thing is saving our country. This country was a republic founded on freedoms. If you don't stay vigilant, your freedoms will evaporate away. They're legislating away our freedoms. They're doing all kinds of things to stop us from doing things that we actually have the brains and ability to control ourselves. And if we don't, then that's on us. You know, it's if you drink a 32-ounce Coke rather than a 20-ounce, and it gives you a problem, then that's on you. You know, we're supposed to be free people. We're supposed to be able to look at television. If it offends us, we can turn the channel. We're supposed to be able to make our own decisions and think for ourselves. And it seems to me that the lawmakers, quote unquote, that we have in the Congress and also in the Senate, even though we have a Republican majority there, seem to think that we're not able to cross the street by ourselves. And that's very offensive to me. And in a time when everybody's offended about little bitty tiny bits of stuff that don't matter, I want you to know that I'm offended because somebody's trying to tell me what to do. I'm a grown-up. I can do what I want, and I have to take the consequences if there are any. So I think we're going to wrap it up today with that. I ask you, and I ask you every day, not just today, not just once, call your congressman, call your senator. Let them know that you have your eye on them. They don't work for anyone but you and me. We don't work for them. We pay their salaries. They are elected by us. They should be accountable to us because there's not one single person that works a regular job that if their boss tells them to do something and they don't do it, and they don't do it, and they don't do it over and over again, that they won't be fired because the boss has you in there for one specific purpose, and that's the job he or she hired you for. Congress and the Senate need to be fired because they're not doing their job. They're not working right for me, and I don't think they're working right for you either. So as I wrap this up, we're in the freedom zone where PC is out the window, and God's gun, country, and family are always going to be first in our minds. And we ask that you have a great week and fight for our country every day. We're going to have to, or it's going to be lost. Thank you so much.